The streets of Jackson, Wyoming were riddled with debris. Medics tended to the wounded as the military kept the perimeter where FBI and CIA agents scoured town square. One particular agent stepped over a tattered Winterfest banner and towards a store that had a gaping hole in the front. Agents were inside, taking pictures and samples of the incinerated inventory, but the one that stood outside reached down for a crumpled duffel bag. With gloves on, he carefully investigated its contents, finding nothing but clothes and a tattered old family photo. "Carmine, sir," says another agent who approached. "Witnesses say they saw two teenage boys, one with brown hair and the other blonde, and they had a white-haired girl with them. It's gotta be those two from the hospital," Carmine replied, handing his partner the photo. He also noticed an old man eyeing him from the back of a nearby ambulance. "Also, our team just found it," the other agent continued. The two entered a containment tent full of scientists, circling a metallic man lying on a table. There was a severe gash running down the center of the circle in its chest. With a wrinkled nose and narrowed eyes, Carmine muttered, "What in the world?" Back in the square, Lewis glared in the direction of the agent's opaque tent and then at his own toppled trailer in front of Stan's destroyed storefront. "Hey," Stan said as he approached. "You okay?" "Yeah," Lewis said, rubbing the back of his head. "You?" "Could have been worse," Stan replied, lifting up his bandaged wrist. He looked down with a scowl, shaking his head. "We were so close. You just had to get your little eye sculpture fixed, didn't you?" "Hey! This doesn't ruin anything," Lewis replied, causing Stan to look him up and down. "We know exactly where they're going." "Wow," Logan said as the truck squealed to a stop. "I didn't know you could get that far on an empty tank." The three stepped out and observed the surrounding forest canyon. "Where are we anyway?" Kaden asked. "Popo Aggie Wilderness?" Logan answered.
"It is pronounced Papoja,"
Ursa interjected as they approached a river running into a cliffside sinkhole.
"I need you two to remain here until I return."
"Like, specifically here?" Logan asks. "Where we're standing?"
"Here on the surface."
Kaden and Logan exchanged confused looks right as Ursa leapt into the water and didn't resurface. "Ursa!" Kaden tried to go in after her, but Logan grabbed him by the shoulder. "Wait," he said. "She told us to wait here, so we're gonna wait." "You're right." Kaden furrowed his brow. "Why'd you say it like that?" The brothers sat in the truck, Logan napping in the driver's seat and Kaden in the passenger, sketching in his notebook. It became more difficult as day slowly turned to night. He nervously glanced back towards the sinkhole, hoping to catch any sign of Ursa, but there was none. Man, the sound of that running water made him thirsty. Deciding to take Logan's unsaid advice, he shut his notebook and quickly dozed off. He started breathing heavily as the wind blew through the pines. He tossed and turned as unsettling imagery flashed across his mind. He saw Ursa release a violent wave of ice and snow, her eyes glowing bright blue. A scene of Logan being violently slammed to the ground by a sentry, and one of Ursa in a white dress being chained up before a suit-clad maverick. Kaden awoke in a cold sweat. He looked at Logan, who was still peacefully asleep with his arms crossed. Kaden then looked back and forth between the sinkhole and his brother before quietly exiting the vehicle, slinging on his duffel bag like a backpack. However, the sound of the door shutting caused Logan to open his eyes. "Cade?" Before long, he spotted Kaden sprinting towards the sinkhole. "Cade, get back here!" He immediately sprinted after him, trailing close behind. Kaden glanced back at his oncoming brother before leaping into the river and getting sucked below the surface. "Cade, you freaking!" Logan skidded to a stop at the river's edge, looked around, and jumped in after it. After several seconds of slipping and sliding in the pitch black, Kaden crashed down into a large pool of water. He swam to the surface. "Ursa!" Logan screamed before crashing down onto Kaden. They both resurfaced. "You idiot! What were you thinking? Wait, I can see you," Kaden said before realizing they were now in a large cavern that was well lit by various luminescent crystals jutting out of the cavern walls. "Do you hear that?" Logan whispered. Yeah, Kaden replied. Sounds like people. They climbed out of the water and hiked over the slight incline dividing them from the noise. The cavern opened up before them to a large civilization of short people. They all were dressed like it was medieval Europe, and there was a small cluster of them just a few yards away. Hello? Kaden asked as the brothers carefully approached. Have you seen our friend Ursa? She has white hair, but she's young. The group of short people turned towards them. Humans! Many of them immediately equipped various weapons and charged towards Kaden and Logan. The brothers ran away as their little adversaries started swinging. Stop! Ursa shouted, rushing in to intervene, a short bearded man right alongside her. Oh, Ursa, thank goodness! These midgets are trying to kill us! Kaden exclaimed as they both had their hands in the air.
What are you two doing down here? I instructed you to wait for me!
Yeah, she sure did. Logan snarkily stared at Kaden. Why'd you follow me then? Kaden replied. 'Cause I was trying to save your dumb ass!
Enough!
Your Majesty, says the bearded man who arrived with Ursa. Who are these two humans?
Cormac, these two are the sentries I informed you of. Logan and Kaden Boone.
Oh! The crowd gasped. Ursa, Logan whispered. What's the deal with these guys? As the short people stared down Kaden and Logan, Ursa replied,
These are the Darve, the Vinflod tribe to be exact, and they have an everlasting hatred towards humankind.
No way. Kaden muttered as he stared at the tip of the sword pointed at his face.
Centuries ago, humans nearly drove them into extinction, forcing them into the underground world. Now, are you able to see why I told you to wait for me?
Kaden lowered his head. We must kill the humans! One Darve shouts. No, you fool! Another one shouts. That will kill Her Majesty as well! Let's enslave them, just as they did to our fathers of old! Yeah! The crowd cheered, causing Kaden and Logan to shrink with fear.
You will do no such thing!
Ursa announced, standing before the brothers with outstretched arms.
I need them to accompany me on my journey. Cormac, please.
Your Majesty, Cormac replies, drawing his axe and leaning forward against it. Let us fight for you. We are all willing and able.
I cannot ask that of you.
You don't have to, my lady, he says as he kneels down, causing all of the others to as well.
Darve
of Vinflod! Cormac exclaims, standing back up. The spirit of the North has served us greatly in times past, but now she is dying, and we must serve her as she has served us, no matter the cost! Yeah! Let us prepare for battle! Yeah! The crowd cheered and dispersed.
Wait.
Oh, okay, Kaden said. Nice! You have an army now! A short, vicious one, but still! We should have come here in the first place! Logan shot a confused look off in the distance. Yeah, why didn't we?
I took a huge risk just by coming here. I suspected the sentry's armor to be of Darvean origin, and I was correct. I did not know who to trust. Cormac has reason to believe some tribes have sided with Maverick.
Why would they do that? Kaden asked. Can't they tell Maverick is insane?
Just as I said before, the Darve despise humans. Whichever tribe or tribes that are aiding him likely understands something that he does not. And it is the fact that his plan, if accomplished, will annihilate the human race. They are blinded by hatred.
With that last sentence, Kaden snuck a peek at Logan, before lowering his face toward the ground. The three walked deeper into the city and down its streets, all the while getting stared down by the Darve. The city was almost entirely made of dark stone and mortar, sitting several hundred feet below the crystal-filled cave ceiling. Has there always been this mystical world just under our noses? Kaden asked as he eyed a small shiny black dragon with purple polka dots.
Yes, and they are all hiding from the humans in one way or another.
Humans can't be that bad, right? Kaden asked.
Well, you understand what it is like to see something strange yet extraordinary. It can be terrifying. There are those whose first instinct is to eliminate said things, but for others,
She stopped and turned towards the brothers.
they find ways to achieve personal gain.
Excuse me, Your Majesty. Would you like some dry clothes?
A female Darve asked, holding out a folded pile of clothing.
Yes, I would. Thank you.
Ursa said as she was invited into the lady's brick home. Kaden and Logan tried to follow after her, but the 4.5-foot tall lady stood in their way and slammed the door. Hey Ursa, we're gonna change into some dry clothes, Logan shouted through the door. We'll meet you back here in a few. They head over to and conceal themselves in a back alleyway to change their clothes. Aw, crap! Logan facepalms. I totally left my bag in Jackson. Hey, I got you, Kaden replied, tossing him a shirt and some sweatpants. Those are a little baggy on me, so they should fit. Logan chuckled. But you're huge! You've been carrying Ursa around and taking down sentries. Kaden laughed as he discreetly checked out his bicep. Hey, how are these so dry? Logan asked. My bag's waterproof, Kaden said. It's the one Dad got me for that rafting trip we went on. Oh yeah, that was fun. Remember when you and Alonzo... Kaden stopped himself before Logan flashed him a shaky, wide-eyed look. Never mind. Logan cleared his throat. Hey Logan? Logan started tying his wet shoes back on. Yeah? Kaden took a deep breath. I'm gonna ask you a question, and you better not make fun of me for it. Cade, I would never, Logan said slyly, but Kaden just gave him a blank look. Okay, what is it? Kaden took another deep breath, looked around and said, I'm in love with Ursa. Ooh, shocker, Logan chuckled. Also, that wasn't a question. I know that wasn't a question, Kaden exclaimed. It was the preface to the question. Ugh, I can't believe I'm even asking you, but you're all I got and you have a girlfriend. How do I, make a move? Watch and learn, bro, Logan said, clearing his throat. Hey, Ursa, would you like to go on a date sometime? Come on, Kaden rolled his eyes. That's literally all it takes, Logan replied. If she likes you, she'll say yes. If not, she'll either say no or give you some lame bullcrap excuse. Just like that? Just like that, Logan nodded. Don't get me wrong, it can be terrifying, but you've faced off sentries and jumped into a sinkhole. You got this. But what if she doesn't like me back? Well, that's just the risk you're gonna have to take. But hey, what do I know? I don't think my girlfriend will ever want to talk to me again after what happened the other night. Logan walked past him and back towards where Ursa was. Kaden jogged after him. How do I know when to ask? Logan's eyes wandered.
I truly apologize, Logan.
Ursa said as she approached them. She was wearing a short, dark blue Celtic-style dress with black leggings beneath.
I truly appreciate the clothes you provided me.
Kaden gulped. Oh, it's okay, Logan replied. Where are the clothes I gave you?
Oh, that kind Darvaean took them, but I could go retrieve them.
Right as she said that, Logan spotted that very Darvaean lady chuck the clothes into her fiery furnace. Oh! Logan grumbled. No, that's fine. It's fine. Kaden looked at Logan, noticing his tightened jaw and wide eyes, and then at Ursa. Now was as good a time as ever, he thought. He cleared his throat. Ursa, I have something to ask you.
Yes, Kaden?
His heart rate spiked like the crack of a whip. What? Ursa maintained eye contact as Logan nodded his head, trying to egg Kaden on. Water? Water? Kaden thought to himself. What the frick is wrong with you?
I am afraid I do not understand.
Ursa replied with a lifted eyebrow. Oh, I'm just a little parched, Kaden said. Is there somewhere I could get some water? Still with a confused look on her face, Ursa nodded and waved for them to follow her. Solid effort. Logan said, patting Kaden on the back. Oh, shut up. Kaden flinched as a phosphorescent warthog was thrown onto a cutting board. With a look of disgust, he turned away as the Darvaean butcher raised his large rectangular knife. He saw some Darvey tending to a garden full of peculiar plants and a nearby blacksmith hammering away at a sword. After 3 consecutive swings clanging against the metal, the blacksmith dented the blade, cursing to himself. Instead of replacing the sword in the forge, the blacksmith picked up a miniature phosphorescent dragon, placed it on the workbench, scratched under its chin, and aimed its fiery breath at the sword, allowing him to continue hammering away. Whoa! Kaden and Logan said in unison.
Here is some water,
Ursa said, handing Kaden and Logan their own thick wooden cup. Kaden was hesitant to drink at first. He'd always been afraid of drinking something unsanitary. He was, however, extremely parched, and the water looked clean for the most part, so he took a sip. His eyes popped as the crisp, mineral-rich liquid melted away his bitter thirst. Oh man, this stuff's good, Kaden said, chugging more. Real good! A smile crept up Ursa's face. Logan chuckled and took a sip for himself. He pulled the cup away from his flattened mouth. Literally just tastes like tap water. Off to the side, they could hear metal clanging as several Darvey trained in combat with various weapons. After finishing his delectable agua, Kaden shuffled towards a group of Darvey standing before an axe-throwing range. Kaden gazed fixedly at the beautifully crafted battle axes. He was enamored by the Nordic-looking etchings in the silver surface. He grinned as the axes soared into the targets in near perfect sync. His grin faded as he realized the wooden board targets were cut and painted to look like humans, but exaggeratedly evil-looking. A lot of them were in the likeness of historical figures from across the globe, but the rest looked like various politicians that even Kaden knew. Not too far off on that one, he muttered. One of the Darvey looked Kaden in the eye as they threw another axe into the head of their target. As a maniacal grin spread across the Darvey's face, Kaden gulped and shimmied in the opposite direction. I take it these dwarves like to fight?
Darvey, and yes, they take great pride in their way of battle. Hopefully we will not require it of them.
What do you mean? Logan asked. Before she could respond, Cormac approached them and said, Come with me. I think we figured it out. They followed him to his home, which, in the lower levels, had a giant garage filled with all sorts of tools and equipment, and a couple vehicles that resembled K microvans. What's with the vans? Logan asked. We found they're really good utility vehicles, Cormac replied. We use them a lot for mining. Kaden asked, Do you buy them, or... We build them, Cormac replied as he led them to a workbench where a bald, white-bearded Darvey was working. With his circular bifocals hanging off the edge of his nose, he stared intently through a magnifying glass at the sentry's medallion. Tell them what you found, Glars.
This medallion is very advanced technology. The craftsmanship is Darvey, but I'm not so sure about the design.
Can you replicate it?
Ursa asked.
Perhaps,
Glars replied.
It will be a stretch, but we will try our best, Your Highness.
I'll tell you what we can make, though, Cormac added, grabbing a blue crystal. One of the first things I noticed about this medallion was the electronics on the inside. So I figured since the metal alloy is incredibly tough to cut through, we can short out the electronics and deactivate the armor. This crystal can do just that. He then tapped the medallion with the crystal, causing it to spark. Glars jumped back. Cormac! Cormac laughed. We can implement these into our weaponry.
So you can arm these two with said weapons?
Cormac looked Kaden and Logan up and down. Yes, we can arm these humans, but only because they are your sentries, Your Highness. Not to say this is a bad idea or anything, Kaden piped up, but neither of us hardly know how to fight, let alone with weapons.
The Darvey are excellent fighters. They can teach you. Right, Cormac?
Of course, Your Majesty, Cormac laughed. If they can handle it. In fact, I'll take the privilege of teaching them.
Thank you, Cormac.
I'll get started on the weapons, Cormac said before turning to Kaden and Logan. We'll start first thing in the morning. That should give us enough time to prepare before we make our departure, if you two can learn fast enough. Ursa stood with her arms crossed and her index finger over her lips, her eyes darting between Cormac and the brothers. Kaden and Logan glanced at each other with deep breaths. Kaden chucked down his bag as he crafted a makeshift bed with it and some potato sacks. I know these dwarves or Darve or whatever hate us and all, but I don't see why Ursa gets to sleep in an actual house while we stay in Glarsa's stable, Kaden exclaimed, plopping down on the bed. We're her sentries, for Pete's sake! I don't think they respect us for being sentries, Logan said with his eyes closed as he lied on his makeshift bed with his arms tucked behind his head. It's just the only thing keeping us alive. Also, what kind of name is Darve? It's literally just the word dwarf without the W. Exactly! Kaden laughed. Gall, if they weren't being so helpful, I would have beat their booties on the spot. Logan opened one of his eyes and looked at Kaden with a raised eyebrow. You would fight the incredibly skilled mini-warriors? Yeah! You would get your butt whooped, Logan laughed, shutting his eyes again. Or you'd have an axe thrown at your head. Okay, that's fair, Kaden huffed. But I would definitely stick up for myself a lot more. I hate bullies. Silence crept into the room. Hey, Logan? Yeah? You told Lewis you were 19. That's right. I thought you were 18. Not anymore. Kaden paused for a second. When was your birthday? Logan opened his eyes and turned his head toward Kaden. The day Ursa showed up? Kaden was speechless as he and Logan just stared at each other. Logan flipped to lie facing away from Kaden. Good night, Cade. Good night, Kaden muttered. Kaden tried to fall asleep, but he couldn't bring himself to close his eyes, so he just stared up at the rocky ceiling held up by wooden beams. How could I have been so stupid? He thinks to himself. He didn't even remember his own brother's birthday, and it just so happened to be the day when Kaden had a bad attitude about doing things with Logan. After several minutes and with a quivering lip, he finally shut his eyes. His own words echoed through his mind. I hate bullies. As this crystal can that should give us enough time to prepare before we